A shocking sign of the times here. The latest numbers show almost 50%. 49% of all homeowners in the Bay Area are what they call underwater. That means they owe more money on their mortgage than what their home is actually worth. And our consumer lawyer, Eric Seidel, has been looking into this today and what this latest report means. What can you do about it, Eric?
Well, John, it generally means trouble for the homeowner because you'll likely never get to pay off your mortgage. And for everyone else, like, say, your neighbors, well, it means an even harder time selling and lower property values. Now, fortunately, there are some ways to get out from underwater and come up for air.
It's a beautiful home with a beautiful view, and it was priced right when I bought it.
When she bought her waterfront home 11 years ago, this Pinellas homeowner never thought she could lose it.
It's terrifying because I may not have a place to live.
She didn't want us to show her face or use her full name, but Lynn does want you to know this. She's one of the nearly half of all Bay Area homeowners owing more on her home than it's worth. At one point, her lender began taking steps toward foreclosure.
Losing something that I've had for so long, that I love so much, was just devastating.
The last thing you want to do is ignore those letters and ignore those phone calls.
Attorney Charles Gallagher was able to help Lynn avoid foreclosure, and he has this advice for anyone in her situation.
Be proactive about the process.
First step, ask your lender for a modification or a change in the terms of your loan.
They're more willing. In the past, they had been very resistant to that at all, but because of the great mass of folks that are in this fix, they realize that they need to make those loans performing, and the best way to do that is to modify them so there's some cash flow for banks.
In return, the bank may agree to a reduction of principal or a lower interest rate. For those in more desperate straits, Gallagher suggests what's called a deed in lieu of foreclosure.
You would deed the property back to your lender, and they would extinguish any obligation you had under the note and mortgage, and you owe them no more.
Another way to get the bank to forgive the debt is called a short sale, where you get to sell the home for much less than you owe.
Which is kind of a last resort if you're upside down.
But it's a lengthy process that requires you to find a buyer. That's why Lynn decided to try for a modification.
By restructuring, reorganizing the note so that I can continue to pay it, everybody wins, not just me.
It's something Lynn wants others to know about.
That there is a technique that exists, that you don't have to be embarrassed by using this technique.
Now, if you're facing foreclosure, it's a good idea to contact an attorney. Many who specialize in this are using some very effective techniques to stop the process and get the lenders to agree to negotiate. That's what the attorney Gallagher used to bring Lynn's mortgage lender to the bargaining table.